The NFL preseason can tell us a lot about how teams plan on utilizing their players in the regular season. Catching on to this early can be super beneficial for Dynasty Fantasy Football. If you see a rookie fighting for a starting spot, really earning that role, you can trade for them before they really break out in the regular season. If that second-year player you've had your eyes on starts to take that next step, again, you still have this time before the regular season to make that move for them to add them to your Dynasty squad. It can also let you know which players to sell from your roster. Which depth charts are the most crowded, which position groups are going to be the most muddled heading into the regular season. Let's go over 3 players to buy and sell in Dynasty Fantasy Football after week 2 of the NFL preseason. First up is Jacory or Bill Croskey-Merritt, running back for the Washington Commanders. And I'll be honest, this guy really wasn't on my radar ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft. He only played 1 game during the 2024 season for the Arizona Wildcats, but despite all that, the Washington Commanders still picked him in the 7th round of the draft. They must have seen the vision where I didn't, because this guy has looked great through 2 weeks in the NFL preseason. In games against the Patriots and the Bengals, he's put up some really promising tape, and there's been so much buzz in Washington's training camp about him that it's hard to keep him off your fantasy radar at this point. He's apparently a roster lock, which is really impressive for a 7th round rookie to be after just a few weeks of camp, and it's not hard to see why he's been so impressive. He's a very explosive runner who's great at breaking tackles, and he's got great vision with the ability to make defenders miss at the line of scrimmage. And you may be hearing all this and thinking, okay, just another dynasty sleeper to add at the end of your bench. He's not going to do anything this season. He's not going to be relevant. I have something else to tell you that is going to shake your entire view of Jacory Croskey-Merritt. The Commanders have been reportedly shopping Brian Robinson Jr., their starting running back, to other teams for a trade. And to back up these reports, Robinson didn't even play in the team's preseason game against Cincinnati this week. And this has led me to believe that they think Jacory Croskey-Merritt can be their starting running back week 1. I mean, a contending team doesn't look to trade their starting running back unless they're confident they have a better player underneath him. Austin Ekeler should still settle in as a nice change of pace from receiving back, but if Croskey-Merritt looks this explosive and dynamic in the regular season, running over defenders and ripping off big runs, it'll be hard to keep him off the field in a big way. And as you know, if you've been playing fantasy football for a while, rookie running backs have very high ceilings. And if he's really already won the job with Robinson on the trade block, this is a huge piece of news for his dynasty outlook. He may already be 24 years old, but a starting running back is a starting running back. And the Washington Commanders must have a lot of confidence in him, because making a big move and then relying on your 7th round rookie to be your starting running back is a big deal. But if they think Brian Robinson Jr. is expendable enough to where they can rely on the 2 running backs they have underneath him, then why not believe in Croskey-Merritt this season? If you're in a dynasty league where he's on waivers, pick him up immediately. Use as much fab as you need to. If you still haven't had your rookie draft, target him early. I think he's definitely worth a pick in the 3rd round of rookie drafts, maybe even the late 2nd. And it's safe to say he's on plenty of people's radars now. I'm so excited to watch this Commanders backfield this year with Jaden Daniels, Croskey-Merritt, and Austin Ekeler running the offense. And I think it's safe to say that things have gotten much more interesting in the Commanders backfield in the last week. Next up, we have a bigger name. That's TreVeyon Henderson, running back for the New England Patriots. This is a guy who's just going to keep rising up my rookie rankings. He's looked so fantastic through the first few weeks of preseason. I mean, obviously, you can point to taking his first NFL touch for a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown. That was unbelievable. But he also scored again against Minnesota on a nice touchdown run through contact. He's taken 5 carries for 38 rushing yards this preseason. And he's also gotten 4 total targets across 2 games. And again, this is in limited action. At first, I wasn't totally sure if Ramondre Stevenson would still be in the fold this year. I think he's still going to get some carries, but my projections for how much rushing volume Henderson's going to get in year 1 has gone way up. Obviously, I knew he was a home run hitter, a true dynamic threat capable of breaking off 60-yard runs at any time in the game, but I didn't know he would adjust this quickly to the NFL level, and obviously I know it's just preseason. It really doesn't mean a ton compared to the regular season, but this is absolutely a step in the right direction. He's been one of the most impressive rookies overall this offseason. And in those PPR Dynasty leagues, don't forget he is a true target. 27 receptions for 284 yards in his final season at Ohio State. And like I said with Croskey-Merritt, rookie running backs have very, very high ceilings, especially in year 1. Henderson's ability as a home run threat, a pass catcher, and a pass blocker is going to get him on the field very, very early. It's going to give second-year quarterback Drake May another dynamic target to throw to, and it's going to bolster this running game that much more. I expect the Patriots offense to take a pretty decent leap this year, especially because I do think Drake May is going to improve a ton. He's such a great quarterback. And with Henderson and some new receiving options in the fold, it'll be really interesting to see how good this team can be. Next up, I have a player that I think should be trending up in every single Dynasty league. That is Ollie Gordon II, running back for the Miami Dolphins. And that's because Ollie Gordon really isn't going that high in rookie drafts, and I think he already has earned a role in Miami's backfield. Let me explain. The Dolphins need a goal line running back. Starter De'Von Achane is only 192 pounds, and with 22 carries inside the 10-yard line last year, he only averaged 0.8 yards per carry. Inside the 5-yard line, 0.3 yards per carry. Those were frighteningly low numbers. And that wasn't me taking a shot at De'Von Achane. He's such a talented running back, but around the goal line, his efficiency just hasn't been great. So it makes sense that Ollie Gordon could slot in that role, allowing Achane to do more of what he does better. Ollie Gordon is 225 pounds and scored 36 touchdowns over 3 years at Oklahoma State in college. And he did end up sliding down draft boards to late day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft. That was because of how much of a dip in production he saw from 2023 to 2024. This past college football season, he was expected to be a Heisman candidate. He didn't even get close to that. He went from 1,732 rushing yards all the way down to 880 rushing yards. From 6.1 yards per carry down to 4.6. This was largely due to poor offensive line play. Obviously, some of it was on Gordon as well, but the offense as a whole just regressed a ton from the 2023 season down to 2024. But flash forward to this year's preseason, he has looked absolutely dynamic for the Miami Dolphins. He is truly a physical runner, again at 225 pounds, that invites contact and loves to break tackles. Also, for a guy that's 225 pounds, he's very good at making defenders miss. And because of his complementary style to De'Von Achane, they both do different things very well. I expect him to be Miami's running back 2 by the end of the season. The last time head coach Mike McDaniel's offense featured a heavier back in a 2-back system, it was 2023 during De'Von Achane's rookie season when Raheem Mostert was still on the team. As a reminder, Raheem Mostert is 212 pounds. In that season, he registered 20 carries inside the 5-yard line, which was second most in the NFL, for 12 rushing touchdowns, which was tied for the most in the NFL. That's one heck of a precedent, and a role that I think Gordon can fill to perfection. I'm not saying he's as good as Achane, or maybe not even as good as Raheem Mostert, probably not right off the bat at least, but I think he could get to that level of production with especially how dynamic he is at his size. And overall, I am all in on Ollie Gordon in Dynasty Leagues this year. I'm trying to pick him up in every Dynasty League I have. If I can't, I'm trying to trade for him. Not because I think he's going to take over the backfield, but I think he's going to have a serious role. Probably have several rushing touchdowns this year. When they get inside the 5-yard line, I would give it to Gordon every single time. It would add yet another dimension to this offense and make it so much more multifaceted. And who knows, maybe Miami got to steal the draft in the 6th round. Those were 3 players to buy in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Now let's move on to the sells. First up, we have quarterback for the New York Jets, Justin Fields, who signed there in free agency on a 2-year, $40 million contract this offseason. He really did not impress me at all, especially in their preseason game versus the Giants. I know it's a preseason game, but he really struggled in terms of accuracy and decision making. And it really leaves me worried for this offense overall, his job security, and the rest of the targets in this offense in fantasy and dynasty this season. I mean, Fields has never been an elite passer. He's always been a very, very good rushing quarterback. He's had some moments throwing the ball, but really his rushing attack, that rushing upside, has brought him a lot of fantasy success. And that same rushing upside will give him some value this year. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be good. But if his passing stats don't really improve, I expect him to be replaced after the season. Trading Justin Fields now off your dynasty roster while he's still a starting quarterback, while he's still getting those rushing yards, is a really proactive move to add value to your team. I don't expect the Jets to be good at all this year, at least not on the offensive side of the ball. And Justin Fields still has name recognition and youth on his side. You can take advantage of that and ship him to one of your league mates' teams. And if you can net a young, solid player and a draft pick in return, I would absolutely do it. Who knows, maybe somebody out there in desperate need of a quarterback is willing to ship you a 2026 first-round pick for Fields. Let's move on to Jarquez Hunter, running back for the Los Angeles Rams, selected in the 4th round of this year's draft. He's gotten a lot of work in this year's preseason. The Auburn product has taken 26 carries for 96 rushing yards through 2 preseason games. But there are a few reasons why I don't think he's going to make any kind of significant impact this year, and maybe not in future years either. First of all, it finally happened. Kyren Williams was finally rewarded with a 3-year, $33 million contract extension, the thing that every single one of his dynasty managers was waiting for. It took long enough, but he finally has a long-term commitment from the team. He is their starting running back, locked in. But even in a worst-case scenario where he would unfortunately go down with an injury, I still think that Jarquez Hunter would split carries with Blake Corum in that scenario. He was viewed as a sleeper by some dynasty circles this offseason, but I really just don't see it. He's a decent player in a really tough situation for fantasy, because you can't even really call him a handcuff with Corum still there. And Missouri legend Cody Schrader is also in that backfield, so I wouldn't even be looking to touch him. Nonetheless, Jarquez Hunter does present some value. He's 22 years old and was selected with an early day 3 pick in this year's draft. That might be intriguing for some of your league mates in your dynasty league. A young running back performing well in preseason could net you a pick or 2 in return. albeit they may be late, or you get a solid young player, who knows. Overall, I don't think you're going to get much in return for Hunter, but this might end up being the peak of his value. He could easily be the running back 3 this season and in years beyond. Kyren Williams is locked and loaded and gets a ton of work every single year. He is a workhorse running back, so I just don't see where Jarquez Hunter fits in this scenario. Kyren Williams is also really good on the goal line, so even though Jarquez Hunter is kind of a bigger running back, I don't see him getting work there either. That's what separates this situation from a player like Ollie Gordon on the Dolphins, who has a more complementary playing style to the starting running back on the team. Overall, he's a prospect that I like, but I don't like Hunter's situation at all. Look to trade him for whatever you can. Finally, we have J.K. Dobbins, running back for the Denver Broncos. Look, I'm just going to lay it out for you. He hasn't played more than 13 games in a season since 2020. That was like 5 years ago, if you don't know. Pretty ridiculous. And rookie running back R.J. Harvey, who was selected in the second round, has looked pretty dang good this preseason. And to me, there's nothing suggesting he won't be the lead running back by the end of the year. And that's pretty significant draft capital spent on a running back who many thought wouldn't be selected until late day 2 or even early day 3. I'm not saying Harvey doesn't deserve it, but that's a significant investment. And again, look at the urgency with which these two players were acquired in Denver's backfield. Harvey was drafted with his second round pick as a running back. That's a pretty significant price. Dobbins was brought in super late in the offseason on a 1-year low money contract. There was obviously a lot more urgency to bring in Harvey than there was Dobbins. And combine that with Dobbins' scary injury history, he's just not a player I'm willing to invest in on my dynasty roster this season. I'm looking to trade him for as much as I can after a very solid year in Los Angeles last year. I don't trust him to play a full season, and there's no way he gets the same amount of volume as he did last year on the Chargers. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe and comment. If you agree or disagree with any of my takes in this video, I would love to talk ball with you guys down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more Dynasty advice all offseason and during the regular season as well. I'm Joe, and this is Dynasty Trading Room.